Well, hi there folks, it's Matt Hayson here looking at this week's property market. As we know, for the 10th consecutive RBA board meeting, the cash rate has been lifted during the week, now sitting at 3.6%, which is quite extraordinary. Looking at the RBA board meeting minutes is always a very interesting thing to do. As we know, back in February, the RBA boss, Governor Phil Lowe, was very hawkish in his commentary, suggesting that the cash rate would need to be lifted higher and rates would remain higher for longer. However, we look at this month and the more dovish commentary coming from the RBA governor, suggesting that he's keeping an open mind about what may happen at the April board meeting. There's some incoming data around inflation, jobs, and business and consumer spending, which is going to play a really key role in what does happen at the April board meeting. Now, Dr. Shane Oliver from AMP Capital does believe that the RBA could look at pausing the cash rate lifting cycle as early as April. And he has looked at the board meeting minutes and suggested that the RBA has signalled that there may not be several, there may only be one more rate increase. Now, it is expected if the cash rate lifting cycle does pause, that overall property sentiment will improve. And of course, this makes a lot of sense, as most people like to know and have some stability when they go into purchasing a property. Now, the speed and the intensity of these rate increases is having a noticeable impact in the market. What we do know is mortgage repayments are now set to consume a record level of wages. And also, according to CoreLogic data, anybody who purchased in the peak of the market and put down a 10% deposit could currently be owning a property with negative equity. And then over in the US, the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, head there, is preparing America for potentially higher and even faster rate increases. So that's going to be interesting to see what the knock-on impact is here in Australia. Now, turning our attention over to the property market here, we're continuing to see very tight level of stock on the market, and that's keeping the market at an even keel at the present time. In fact, we're very impressed with some of the number of properties that are transacting. However, looking at the preliminary auction clearance rate reported by the Sydney Morning Herald last week, that came through at 72%, and I can tell you this is very poor data. That would suggest that the market is actually really quite strong. But when we look at the real auction clearance rate coming from SQM Research, that was sitting at 51%. So that's a massive, almost 30% differential between the same sets of data for last Saturday's auction results. So watch that with caution. So folks, that turns us into this weekend where we've got some amazing properties open for inspection. We look forward to seeing you out and about. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you all next week.